Assalamualaikum and hi. We meet again in another new topic on writing the research problem and identifying the research gap. This topic is critical components in developing a high quality research for the first three chapters. So a strong problem statement will actually guide your entire research direction, and a clear identified research gap justify why your study is needed. So in today's lesson, we will break down the key concept. We will explore some examples and learn how to structure a compelling and academically sound problem statement. The problem statement actually serves as the backbone of your research. Its purpose is to define exactly what problem your study intends to address. So, a strong problem statement explains why the issue is important, why it's currently not known, and what consequences might occur if the issue remains unresolved. So, by clearly articulating the problem, you create a logical bridge to your research question and objective. A good problem statement is not vague or it's not general. It must be focused on one clear issue. It should be supported with evidence, statistic, reports, and previous research findings. So most importantly, it highlights a gap, meaning something important is missing or something important is under explored or not yet understood. Clarity and relevance are the key. The reader should quickly understand the importance of your research. A strong problem statement follows a logical structure. You begin by introducing the broader context of your topic. Next one is actually to summarize what is known from the literature. Then you should be able to identify what is not known, and that is considered as the research gap. Explain why this research gap is important for theory or practices. And finally, state the precise problem that your study will address. So this is an example to demonstrate how to incorporate a research gap into a problem statement. It begins by explaining what is known. Okay. For this example, SMEs frequently use social media marketing. Then it presents the gap, which is inconsistent findings and lack of research in a specific context. Next is to highlight why this issue really matters, for business that needs guidance on issues like this. And finally, it states the research problem clearly and directly. So you can read from the sample. It says here, although social media marketing is widely used among SMEs, research show inconsistent findings on its effect on customer engagement. In Malaysia, limited studies have examined how content quality specifically influences engagement in home-based business. As a result, business owners lack clear guidance on which content elements are most effective. Therefore, this study investigates the relationship between content quality and customer engagement in Malaysia home-based business. Well, many students struggle with problem statement because they try to cover too much ground. Avoid being overly general and do not confuse symptoms with the actual problem. And you're supposed to support your statement with evidence, and you should not rely on assumptions only. And always ensure your problem statement leads naturally into your research question and objective. And now that will make a clear focus in your problem statement writing. Your research question must directly arise from the problem statement. So that's the clue. If your problem statement is clear and focused, so The same goes to your research question, which will naturally reflect the focus. So this logically align uh, ensures that your study remain coherent and academically valid. A research gap refers to what is missing in the body of knowledge. It may be an area that hasn't been studied, or a population that has not been examined, or a method that has not been used. Sometimes the gap emerge because existing findings are contradicting between one another. Other times, studies are outdated due to the new technology, or there's a behavioral change among the consumers or the users. So your task as a researcher is to identify this gap and show in your study how you will address them. Research gap can take several forms. A theoretical gap can occur when existing theories do not sufficiently explain a phenomenon. A methodological gap emerges when past studies relied on weak or limited methods. A contextual gap, on the other hand, appears when studies focus too heavily on one country or industry while ignoring others. And population gap matters could include understudied demographic groups. And lastly, practical gap may involve real-world problems that researchers have not adequately addressed. Identifying a research gap requires reading widely and critically. So you should start with academic journal, compare the findings, and look for patterns or contradiction between the studies. Pay attention to what authors recommend for future research, and these other suggestions will actually point directly to research gap. Additionally, keep an eye on new business trends or emerging societal issues. So these often signal areas where research has not yet caught up. So connecting problem statement to research gap. So it means that in your problem statement, you have to have these kind of questions in your mind. What is the issue? In the research gap, why further research is needed? And together it will justify the purpose of your study. In conclusion, writing an effective problem statement and identifying a clear research gap are essential to produce a strong research proposal. A well-written problem statement frames the study. It helps to define the purpose and guide your method. So when you identify the research gap clearly and support it with your evidence, you are able to demonstrate the value of your study. And using the funnel approach, which I have mentioned in my previous video, will ensure your writing is structured, logical, and persuasive. So try to master this skill, and your entire research project will be much stronger. That's all for now. I'll see you guys again in the next video. Bye.